We're having the kid conversation now. We're potentially doing that. And I don't know. It's kind of a rough time in our history to bring a child into this world. But forget it, you know? If the apocalypse comes, at least we'll always have something to eat. Gotta think practical in trying times. We're not sure. We're not yet ready. You know, maybe, who knows? You know, but we're also doing nothing to stop it. We've pulled the goalie, so to speak. Yeah, we're using God as our birth control. I'm 33, I'm married, I'm never wearing a condom again. So I've just been pulling and praying for the last 2 years. But I'm a comedian, so my timing is impeccable. Yeah, I pull out with like 3 minutes to go and just Louis it in front of her for the back nine. It is interesting, though. It's interesting to watch the battle of my wife's brain versus her body. Because her brain, you know, is adamant, not yet ready for kids, but her body is that of a 33-year-old woman. So every time we have sex and I go to pull out, she fucking UFC leg locks me into place. I had to build up my hip flexors just to pop out. I'm like, how dare you try to rape a baby out of me? This has to be a consensual conception.
This episode of the Opie Radio Podcast sponsored by Manscaped.com. Use promo code Opie for 20% off. On your balls! All right, we are here at Gebhards on the Upper West Side in New York City, and I'm with my friend, my pal, Mike Cannon. What's going on, Mike?
How you doing?
You walk in and you see me by myself, setting up equipment, drinking a beer by my lonesome because my producer, Mike Sappho, he's like, dude, I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna definitely be there. It's been so long, Ope. Can't wait to hang out with you. And then he casually goes, but if Trump does or says anything stupid, then you're not going to see me because we're going to have to guard shit in New York City because he works for the NYPD when he's not helping me out. So I guess Trump said something stupid.
He said some sillies?
He said some more sillies. So Mike is guarding the Statue of Liberty or something instead of helping me with my podcast. So there you have it. As a comedian, how do you handle the Trump thing? Because people can't handle jokes about Trump because then you're a snowflake, you're a libtard, you're this and that. And what's so weird being in your business, Trump does a lot of stuff that is a lot of fun to make fun of.
For sure.
And come up with jokes.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also like one of those guys where it's tough to mock a fart.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's already funny. He's hilarious in and of itself, so it's like it's hard to turn something he did into a better bit.
Yeah.
I'm not that political as it is. I do stuff that like moderately touch on some social issues, and that hits, the extreme left or the extreme right. Like, everybody's fucking sensitive.
So you try to take the piss out of both sides, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't smart because people want you to be on a team, Mike.
Right now, I know. That's probably why I'm not doing that great.
I do the same thing. I'm like, fuck it. There's too much to make fun of. And I would assume politically you don't really believe in
no,
our
I believe
political
they're all
system.
funded by evil.
Yeah.
Like, it's all, it's all money backed and all that stuff. Everybody's a warmonger. It depends, you're just dressing it up differently.
Of course.
Yeah.
I get all all my political knowledge from George Carlin. Some of those CDs over the years and HBO specials, I'm like, if you want to know what I think about politics, just throw on any George Carlin record or CD or download, whatever the hell they're called these days.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the whole thing needs a wild overhaul. Money needs to be taken out of politics, and that's pretty much my extent of knowledge on politics.
I agree. But I recently admitted, because Trump used to call our radio show back in the day many times, and he was very entertaining.
I bet.
And as soon as he hung up, we made fun of the guy, that he's a narcissist, and he's so full of shit, and he's not self-aware, all that.
Yeah.
But when he's on the radio with you, he's so entertaining. So recently I admitted that I love Trump. I love him to death, but I don't think I want him to be the president.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that you could love someone and also not really want them to be in charge of the free world.
I think that's fair. I think Michelle Wolf was saying something similar at the Correspondents' Dinner, where she was like, I think the entire media needs to be honest with themselves and with the people and just say, you love this guy because he funds your existence.
Of course.
Without him, there would be a void that you'd actually have to do real journalistic work.
100%. Back in the day when Rush Limbaugh was huge on the radio, it was because Clinton was in office. When he wasn't yelling and screaming on his radio show, behind the scenes when he was probably drinking his scotches and doing his oxys or whatever the hell he did to lose his hearing.
When he was fun.
When he was fun, right.
Yeah. When he was Uncle Rush.
He was secretly hoping that Clinton was going to get another term because it was great for Rush Limbaugh business.
Of course.
And MSNBC and CNN, they want Trump to be reelected. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's why any single person that truly invests in these people as like real moral arbiters, like as if they have any clue or like real stance and they fully believe in something, you're a fucking idiot. You're mentally ill. You're not paying attention to what like basically steam powers all of these networks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so easy to just call someone mentally ill these days.
Oh yeah, I mean we all are.
I think we all are to a certain extent. But,
I mean, granted, the people, you know what? Maybe the people that aren't on social media have like a fighter's chance,
right?
Like they're the most close to non-mentally ill, or at least they're unswayed by like the constant onslaught of information.
Yeah.
But every single person who posts more than once per week on social media has a full-blown mental illness.
100%.
Myself included. I'm not taking myself
100%.
out of that. Yeah,
because these people will try to attack me and go, "You're mentally ill," and I see the guy is just coming up with troll accounts all day long.
Oh yeah,
trying to say that I'm mentally ill. I'm like, you're the one that's insane, my friend.
There are people that like enjoy my lack of success so much that they'll like be on YouTube, be like 124 views, good for you, dickhead, and then like I'm like, all right, cool, man, thanks for my 125th, genuinely appreciate it, and then like at 257, they'll be like, 257, really crawling up there. And it's like, if you want to continue to check back in, I guess you're just a devoted fan at this point.
They keep close ties on you. I get, hey, Ope, remember when you were relevant? I'm like, I've been to the mountaintop, and and the view was not as good as I thought it would be.
Not to mention, who the fuck wants to be relevant right now?
Exactly.
Like, anybody who is relevant is having a true tough go of it.
Yeah. I enjoy podcasts, and I have a nice, smaller, faithful audience, and that's all I care about these days.
No, actual social relevancy is maybe the worst position you could put yourself in right now.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, if the podcast gets more popular and I make some money, of course I would love that.
Sure.
But it's not my motivation anymore, which is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about because you became a father.
I did.
Haven't your motivations changed?
In terms, I mean, now I just want to fund life. like now, like my dream is to make good shit. It's always been to make good shit.
Yeah.
I did have the delusion of fame and stuff like that early on.
Yeah.
And even a taste of it here and there.
Yeah.
But it's not, that is 1,000,000% not even in the top 100 of my driving forces.
Right.
Like, it's like, again, would I like to have a devoted fan base that pays to come see me on the road? 100%.
Yeah.
Do I want to be on the cover of Us Weekly?
Yeah.
Fucking feeling melons and saying stars, they're just like us? No. I have no interest in that being part of my life. And there were times where I was like, I can't fucking wait for that, dude.
Right. My new favorite thing is I follow Us Weekly, and I don't want to be... I don't want to be the asshole on Twitter because I have plenty of assholes attacking me on a regular basis.
Sure.
And I used to be that guy, and I realized how easy it is. And that's kind of when I turned the corner on that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I am trying to at least get some humor out there on Twitter. So I follow Us Weekly, and it's funny you should say that because they listed all these stars that took a break from social media.
Oh, heroes.
And I retweeted that, and I just said, wow, so brave.
Yeah. These stars took a break from social media because, let's face it, they could afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Chris Pratt with his 120 seconds. It doesn't matter. Like, somebody could slap a fucking story up for him, and he gets more engagement than I'll see in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He's fine.
It's funny, when your priorities change, I think you become, in my case, a better broadcaster, and in your case, a better comedian. Although I think you've always been really, really good. And I saw your special already, which comes out, I think, on the 24th of January.
Yeah.
Of January, excuse me. And it's called Life Begins, and you put it out on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
But it's really, really good.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I think when your priorities change in life, you become better at this, like I said, in my case, broadcasting, and in your case, stand-up. I don't know what it is. Maybe because you're not taking it so seriously. Maybe it's because you're not wanting it as much. You're able to kind of settle in and relax and have other priorities or things to think about in life.
I think it's both of those things. So, because my focus has hardened in the sense that I know what I want to do, and it's to make things. So I'm not wasting my time on some frivolous shit that I used to, just to get maybe a notch up industry-wise, or to get some level up in this figment of my imagination. Like, those things don't really exist anymore as it is. So my focus now is on creating and really getting stuff out there, as opposed to try to I hope somebody will give me money for this someday. It's like, why wait? We have every ability to make it right now.
And it's funny because a lot of your fellow comedians, they don't want to be parents.
Yeah.
We know all the same people, and most of them don't have kids. Most of them aren't married. And I look at those people like, you're so stupid. Having a kid gives you so much new material to work off.
New material, and it's. I think it's made me a little less selfish, but it has given me the thing where what you said, where it's like, it's not an I don't give a fuck, but it's that there's something more important than this out there, so I don't have to feel like my life lives and dies on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that I am still going out and trying to get the love and affection from strangers when I have two people that give me unconditional love at home showcases exactly what's wrong with me as a human, but it has at least gone down in the level of importance to me as a person.
I get it. For me, it was everything. Like my whole life revolved around putting a radio show together, being, putting a good product out there, being famous, making a shitload of money. I thought that's the only thing that mattered in my life.
Right.
And then to get a little mushy, then I went down to Philadelphia, and my wife smiled at me for the first time, and I went, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And then and then fast forward a whole bunch of years. I don't know. I think because I'm more relaxed and stuff that I enjoy it way more.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with my wife since I started comedy. Like, I have not done comedy without being in a relationship, so I completely have taken her for granted. But the baby sure has changed things.
There you go. Very nice. I was listening to your podcast, which is really, really good, The Irish Goodbye.
Oh, thanks.
I DM'd you on Twitter like, we got to talk about your dad at Christmas. I know Christmas is a few weeks ago now.
Right.
But you told a story on your podcast, and I wanted everybody in the room to go, holy shit, and bathe in what you were saying. That's
why stupid Feeney just underreacts to everything that I say, and it makes me livid.
Yes.
He's like, well, I've told that story to my friends, and they're like laughing and horrified and enjoying themselves, but like he was just like, okay.
Yes, because I'm sitting there like, holy shit, and then I'm like, if I was in the room, I would stop everybody, and I would go, all right, Mike, the next hour is yours, my friend. You want to tell the story?
So I think these two stories go together. I'm pretty sure it was the same day. If not, they all nightmares of Christmas kind of mold together at some point. But this was the year, like the first year I bought anybody presents. I was like 14 or 15. I had a job. I was bussing tables. Yeah. So it was like, I had a few bucks to spend on my family as opposed to my mom buying things for my sisters or for my father from me.
Yeah.
So I bought my dad all this like golf stuff, right? He was super into golf because any free time he had, he wanted to be away from the family. So he was super into golf, and I bought him like, you know, a scope to find out how far the fucking flag was away, and
Beautiful.
You know, an inside putter,
Nice.
you know, and putting hole, and like, you know, all this kind of like goofy, almost, you know, tinker toy golf shit that like is barely useful, but a fun gift for a golf enthusiast, right? So I give it to him that morning. I'm all excited for him to open it. He immediately is like, can't use this, like throw it over his shoulder, can't use this, throw it over his shoulder. He's like, yeah, I guess, and like puts it in his pocket, throws 4 other things, and is like, all right, whatever, what's next? And I'm like heartbroken sitting there.
Of course.
And then of course my dad, in classic fashion, like knew what my mom wanted. She like put it out there for him on a platter, and he bought like the fucking B- version of that, which was, you know, that like classic Zach Morris gold jewelry that leaves a fucking green ring around your neck.
Right.
So he like got that for her, and of course she was like, what the fuck, like what's your problem? Like they got into a big fight, which was completely, you know, par for the course, pun intended, for my family on holidays. And I forget, I think it was on the 26th. It may have actually been Christmas Day, but I'm pretty sure it was on the 26th. They were having it out, big fight in the middle of things. And my dad, in the most graceful move I've ever seen, because he's a big guy, he's 6'2", like 280 my entire life. Right. Big Irish fucking meat paws, you know, all that stuff. He like almost ballet parried, grabbed the tree from both the like 3/4 up top and then right in the middle, like he was tossing a man out of a bar, and in one fell move, like literally like swept up, grabbed it, twirled, and like he had opened the screen door and fucking hurled it like DJ Jazzy Jeff out of the Fresh Prince house. Just fully dressed, every single ornament on it, every fucking light, everything like still plugged in, I'm pretty sure. So it probably like was hurled out and then yanked back just to make sure everything shattered. Yeah, just directly on my driveway.
He threw the family Christmas tree out the front door. And I got it so excited. I'm like, Mike, I'm dying because I can relate to all this stuff because I have a fucked up parent too, and we've talked about that over the years. Now, who had to awkwardly go outside?
Me. It was me.
This is the questions that Feeny should have asked you. Now, after that happens and he gets his big reaction, then it's awkward for him because he looks like an idiot no matter what.
He could. I almost like I aspire to have his level of I don't give a fuck. Because I'm almost certain he's never felt a moment of shame. After something like that. He just like went into the living room and watched TV.
And put on a Bing Crosby record.
He probably watched It's a Wonderful Life and just missed every lesson it had to teach.
That fucking Bing Crosby. Oh, isn't he the greatest? Oh my. And then it comes out he beat the shit out of his kids while he was recording all those lovely Christmas songs.
Oh, what a classic guy.
But so who went outside and like had to get the tree back in and hope the neighbors didn't notice, and then how many of the decorations were broken?
It was me. It was for sure me.
Why
I had
you?
to like because I don't know. I had to dustpan all of the broken ornaments. We could save. I think the only ones saved were like the ones that I made as a kid, and they all looked like a retarded kid slapped Play-Doh together,
like macaroni ornaments.
So I'm sure my parents were thrilled that those were the ones that made it. But like every like first Christmas, like baby's first, everything is just like in a huge metaphor on the blacktop.
Your baby footprint.
broken
in half.
It's like in the shape of a heart. Couldn't be more perfect. But yeah, I was out there with like a dustpan, and we ended up we went that day, I remember, with my mother, and we went to the mall and bought Christmas ornaments because they were the most on sale they could possibly be all year. So
God.
in like a kind of put our family back together moment, my mom and my 2 sisters and me went with my dad somewhere, went and shopped for more ornaments.
Oh my God, that is such a great story. Why was he pissed again?
I don't know. He had borderline personality disorder. Completely didn't,
because your gifts were very thoughtful.
Yeah, he was like,
and it's not about him.
Oh, it wasn't my gifts. He got into a fight with my mother about like the gift he got her because this was like
because she didn't appreciate it enough or something.
No, it was a long-standing tradition that like he would just get her the worst, right? Like, and every year she tried to make it a little bit easier for her by saying like, just get me this. Here's
Yeah.
the item number. Like, just get me this, dude. And, you know, he just wouldn't do it and instead think he was being creative and putting thought into it. But in actuality, he was, like, knocking into a jewelry stand in the middle of the mall and was like, oh. You know, no thought went into it whatsoever.
Do you get along with your dad these days?
No, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him since my baby shower.
Really? That was the last time I talked to you on the podcast. That was August, I think? Or July?
Yeah, so it was like right after my kid was born, probably like 2 weeks maybe. So we still hadn't spoken, and we haven't. He came to my special though, which is like this is what extended the whole thing. Is like I knew I was getting into sabotage mode. Yeah. Because like right around when my special was coming up, I mean to put together
Wait, you do self-sabotage too?
Constantly. Yeah.
On the way to Gebhards, I told my wife, I go, Mike Cannon, I've known you for years, but I'm like, God, the more I learn about Mike Cannon, we have a lot in common. We went to the same college. We played basketball. That was our big sport that we were really into. You even mentioned 5-star basketball camp on your podcast. I'm like, I went there. Right. And then we have a fucked up parent. One fucked up. Do you have two fucked up or one?
I mean, my mom had her issues, but she's since completely made amends and gone above and beyond to make up for it, and she's a fantastic grandmother, so it's
awesome.
been awesome.
My dad was more than cool, and then my mom was fucked up. Going back to Christmas, I didn't forget. We'll go back to what you were saying there, and I apologize.
No.
But I wanted to finish up the Christmas thing. In my house, we had amazing Christmases. I was one of 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9 kids, depending on who was living with us at the time. I had a fake sister that my older sister brought in one day.
Oh my God.
But and was introduced to us as your new sister. I'm like, that's Karen. That's Terry's best friend. What do you mean she's our sister now?
That's
now I'm explaining.
Decide.
But I guess Karen's father was getting remarried, and the new wife said it's either her or me, and the father says it's you.
Holy shit.
And then tells Karen to beat it at 15 or 16. So we brought her in, and then my parents introduced us to her as our new sister. But anyway, we had amazing Christmases, even though there was so much turmoil and trauma and stress in our house growing up. Great Christmases. But the one thing that sucked was my mom would go off and just like go in a corner and cry every Christmas. Because she had shitty Christmases. Yeah. And even as a kid, I'm like, yo, Dad is giving you, at this point, probably 10, 12, 15 really good Christmases. I'm like, why with this mental illness can't you figure out that, you had a bad childhood and bad Christmases, but guess what? You've had enough good Christmases in a row that maybe maybe that should sink into your stupid head.
But it's even weird that, like, for me personally, this year was such a great Christmas, right? First Christmas with my kid. It transcended every bad Christmas that I've ever had. I have my family now that I can start the tradition with, right? And I can get it right. However, through the great times, a weird, like, I don't know if it was guilt or like PTSD or something.
You got PTSD too?
Maybe.
Up top, you do.
I think so.
Did you have trauma?
I mean, I've gone to years of therapy and like have completely, I've acknowledged all of this stuff and like continue to work through it. Yeah. But like a weird, a flash of something from my youth will come up where it's like, it's like a cold washover where you just feel terrible for a brief minute and you could sit in it or you could like, or it could last a half a second.
Yeah.
But it still exists. It's still out there, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I
get that too because my life is really good. I got a great family, great wife, but every once in a while I get hit with, like you just said, and all of a sudden you get a bit wobbly, like, and then you realize, I don't live in that world anymore, thank God.
Yeah, no, but you can carry it with you.
Support for Opie Radio comes from Manscaped. You got Manscaped on your podcast?
I do, actually.
Oh, you do?
Or no, we didn't have it on our podcast. My wife actually bought me one for Christmas.
For real?
Yeah.
Isn't it the most amazing thing?
I mean, it's protected my balls at this point. It's fantastic.
Oh, my God. This is perfect. It says it's the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. I like this line. It's 2020, and you know what that means. New year, new me, and new balls.
God damn right.
Hairy balls and bushes are so 2019.
That's an old Portland thing.
Very nice. If you're going to pick a New Year's resolution this year, let it be to take care of your junk. Manscaped making it easy with their grooming products. But she got you one.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, I'm
Do you shave everything?
I tape up. I fade.
No, I mean everything. See,
Oh, yeah.
this is where they get mad at me. They love they love being on my podcast, but they try to say don't use the same razor for your balls as your face.
Oh, yeah.
I shave everything with Manscaped. Everything.
Oh, see, that's what I was doing, and my wife was like, "You're gonna give your face HPV.
Right,
You're gonna be like white Morgan Freeman."
Because when I first started shaving my balls, I was working in Boston at WAF, the only station that really rocks, and we had a really weird sales guy. Okay. We called him Crazy Jim, and he liked showing his dick and balls. I told the story, but fuck it, I'll tell it to you. In the studio, there was a giant cutout of a wrestler who was huge at the time. I'm trying to remember which one. And all of a sudden, he comes into the studio. And he's like, hey, guys, hey, I'm over here, guys. And he's behind the cutout. And we're like, all right, Jim, what are you doing? We're trying to do a fucking show, you know? And then he didn't give it away. And we're like, no, guys, I'm over here. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Jim, you know? Me and Anthony turn our heads to see his dick and balls. He cut out where the crotch is in the cutout of this wrestler who I can't remember at this time. And it's just his dick and balls. But he was the one, and this is going to sound weird, I know, but turned me on to shaving your balls.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. He's like, have you ever done this? I'm like, no, man. And mine at the time, even though I was still a young lad, it looked like a hairy fucking coconut.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you don't understand how great this is. And this was before anyone was even thinking of doing that. But long story short, which helps the Manscaped live read here, I took razors to my balls, and oh my God, what a bloody
It could get wild,
mess.
especially if you're using like your mom's,
The
which I was. Yeah, the little pink daisy ones, just
exactly.
carving my nuts off.
And you lift it up, trying to get a flat surface.
My balls look like that spinning meat that they carve gyros around.
There it is. If I lift it up and stretch it, I think it's flat enough where I won't get nicked. Not with Manscaped, people. They've redesigned the electric trimmer, their lawnmower 2.0. Do you use the lawnmower 2.0? Of course.
Yeah,
that's the main one, right? Has skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. It's the truth.
Hell yeah.
And then I take it on my face. And then I got chest hair that just doesn't stop growing for some reason. It's the weirdest thing. I got to shave down my whole body.
No kidding.
Look at my arms right now.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
If I didn't shave them, that
You're
would.
lucky it's light.
Yeah, of course. I'm lucky it's all light. But my chest hair, no joke, if I let it go, will be 3 to 4 inches.
Wow.
Who has that? It just continues to grow. So, you know, even though Manscaped is encouraging not using the razor on your face that you use on your balls, I'm here to say it works no matter what you want to shave.
Just take an antiseptic wipe through it.
Right. If enough of my listeners get the Manscaped, then they'll probably send me a second one, and then I'll designate one for my face and my back and everything.
The
And
old
my
one
back.
for your face. The new one.
I put on shirts and I'm like, ow, I get snagged with back hair because it's so long. And then every once in a while, my wife has to it's so embarrassing, Mike.
Yeah.
Once a year, I'm like, this is your once a year. Because I finally can't take it anymore. And then I have to stand awkwardly in the shower. And then she has to take a razor to my back. And I could tell, I could feel her energy. She's
I want to get my wife to do my asshole.
Really?
It's like
Why?
that, I feel like, is when our marriage will take the next step. Well, because it's Manscaped, I assume, can go under there and really.
I haven't gone that far.
I know, and I think that's where I'm most
That might be
needed.
the next step with Manscaped. You know they have deodorant for your balls too, right?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, she didn't get you she didn't get you the complete package
I
for
have
Christmas.
it buried through the whole bag.
It's in there.
All right.
They have deodorant for your balls, manscaped.com.
Well, now I got something to use.
Yeah. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code OPIE, OPIE at manscaped.com. Start the new year off the right way by using the best tools for the job. Your balls will thank you. Once again, it's 20% off and free shipping with the code OPIE, OPIE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use promo code OPIE. Thank you, Manscaped. Back to your special, which comes out January 24th on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, Mike Cannon comedy on YouTube.
Yeah, it's called Life Begins. So your dad was at the taping.
Oh, right. So I hadn't spoken to it. So the self-sabotage thing, right?
Sorry.
So
yeah,
I knew I was kind of getting there because right before my kid is 3 months old. So through the process of him being almost born into him being born into the early days, I'm setting up camera crew. I'm filming because you saw there's like interstitials and there's an opening scene and stuff like that. It's kind of a different type of special where it's not 100% stand up. There's a little bit extra, right?
Right.
So I'm putting all that shit together while being the father of a newborn, while being fully present, and I'm running on fumes, like nothing. Haven't spoken to my dad because I can't possibly allow myself to inject that negativity into my life while going through all this craziness. But then I knew that I was getting self-sabotaging because as the special was nearing, I wanted to call him.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, why do I feel this urge to call him? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. You want to ruin everything.
I get this. Sorry, but I'm going to tag your story after you're done.
No, please. Yeah. But it's interesting to finally acknowledge that, right?
We're just going to tag each other left and right today.
Yeah.
This is going to be the theme of the podcast, Mike. But he shows up and then...
So I don't call him, but I say if I still have the urge, I'm going to call him after the special. I was like, you know what? It's time. We haven't spoken in like 4 months. We've given each other space. Let me see what's what. See if he could be an actual grandfather.
Yeah.
So I get to my special, and Feeney from my podcast, comes up to me and he's like, hey man, like I don't know if I should tell you what I'm about to tell you. And I'm like, fucking tell me now. Like, you can't just start that and then me be like, forget it. Talk to you later. Yeah. No, tell me what you're gonna say. He's like, your dad's here. And I turn, and of course his fucking giant St. Bernard head is like lowering itself into a fucking seat. And I'm just like, my heart sinks. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I immediately got pissed. Every feeling that I've had over the past few months that I thought I was kind of working through flooded back. And I'm like, this is my, like, you're showing up on the 1 yard line to watch me punch it through for a touchdown. Like, fuck you, dude. We haven't had a conversation. You haven't emailed me. Like, you haven't even tried to reach out to me through my sisters. There's like, you're just doing this because you want to share in the celebration. I know what this is. You're going to take a picture and you're going to post it to Facebook and you're going to be like, so proud of my son for filming his first special at the world famous Comedy Cellar. Then you're going to watch all your fucking piece of shit friends whose kids also hate them comment like, unbelievable, wonder where he gets the genetics, you're a great father, Kev, like all this shit. So it's all self-serving horse shit.
And you knew that.
Yeah, and of course you know that. Yeah. But I gotta give myself credit where credit is due. I've never showed up for myself more.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been like, okay, that pisses me off, there's nothing I can do, now show this motherfucker what you've been doing and what you do for a living.
Well, I'm glad I watched the special before this podcast because you can't tell that all that happened. And I was going to mention, because you mentioned in there, you filmed your special at the Comedy Cellar. Yeah. That's a small space. So when your dad is marching in and putting his giant body in a seat, it is very noticeable.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable.
I mean, even so the special itself, it like I said, it has interstitials. I have guests from Colin Quinn, Norton, Bobby Kelly, Keith Robinson, and Voss. Yeah. They're all trashing me directly to camera, doing exactly what I've watched them do my entire life, what I've been a fan of from you guys. Like, that whole thing, it kind of like, I just got them to be in my special, so it's great. So the special itself has like 30 minutes of my stand-up, whereas now that'll act as hopefully an advertisement for the full hour audio, which the audio has 55 minutes, so you're getting 25 to 30 new minutes that you haven't heard on the special. And once the album comes out, I roll out the other clips on YouTube and Instagram. Smart. So it's a constant onslaught of fucking content. And it's like, if you miss one, you're going to get the other or whatever. And hopefully they all like kind of lead you to the same place.
Really smart. Yeah. Now that you mentioned the special and you said like Colin Quinn and all those guys are in it, is it true that you got your break at the Comedy Cellar because Colin Quinn had a heart attack?
Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this, because one, the Cellar means everything to me. I've grown up listening to you and everybody in your universe, right? So O&A, Tough Crowd, the Cellar. That's been my basically 3 pillars of stand-up. Yeah. And of course, Howard I listened to as well. But that, for whatever reason, was my focus and what I thought real stand-up comedy was.
Well, we were better than Howard, that's why.
I also agree. I mean, I listened to you guys over Howard. I can
answer that question for you.
I totally agree.
I'm just fucking around.
But, in my personal taste...
Get to Howard to this day.
He's listening now with his fist to the sky.
Oh, whatever. But so you were at the Comedy Cellar just hanging out, and they didn't. See, if you're a comic, you got to be passed at the Comedy Cellar. You can't just go down there and they go, all right, yeah. You know, it's a whole process. And then you were just hanging out there.
I was having dinner with DeStefano because he was going to open for Colin at the Fat Black while Colin was working out Red State, Blue State. And I used to love watching because it was early and then I could go off to my other spots. You know, Liz gets the text from Colin that he had a heart attack. I think he may have just come out of surgery at that point, but we didn't know. We thought it like just happened at that moment. Yeah. So Liz... It just turned to me and was like, I might need you to do 30 minutes. Can you do 30 minutes?
Wow.
And what I couldn't tell for the story on the special, because it was almost irrelevant, but I was just coming off of a panic attack. So I had a full panic attack on Friday at Governor's, and I was doing an hour. And as I was walking on stage, I was having a full-blown pressure of my chest, tunnel vision, panic attack, and I just Irished my way through it.
What caused the panic attack at Governor's?
I think I was drinking a lot at the time, and I was drinking to mask anxiety. So anytime you do that, it just like, it's one of those things where it's just a suppressant, right? And it'll just kind of burst out at any point and in the most inopportune of times. And that's what happened. I was stressed out about God knows what, life, finances, wife, whatever. Yeah. And I just I'll never forget the feeling because I felt like I was going to pass out as I grabbed the microphone. Wow. And I just kind of like pushed and pushed through, and thank God it was a green light audience, because if it was a fight, it might have been a fucking problem.
Have you had panic attacks your whole life?
Not my whole life. They probably started when I was like 24, 23, something like that. Like right when life got kind of weird and heavy, and probably my drinking escalated.
When you realized you had to finally grow up?
Yeah, you know? I mean...
I pushed it a long time myself.
But I didn't even realize I needed to grow up until I was like
30
last year.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it.
I honestly think the moment that my wife told me she was pregnant, I grew up.
Yeah.
That minute, because up until that point, it was all freewheeling, and I could pretend to be mature, and I've always been a nice guy that treated people well. Yeah. But I'm not like you wouldn't look at me and be like, Mike has his shit together. He's organized. Right. He knows what he's doing. But my wife told me she was pregnant, and I was like, all right, I have to do something different.
Now I have to have some responsibilities in my life.
I can't be a dad at my current level of consciousness.
I don't get the anxiety attacks, thank God. Do you really feel like you're going to die, like they say?
Yeah, I mean, I've had ones like that where it feels like, you're not sure like what's happening, but I'm also like, This is fucking weird to say, but I'm not. I'm one of those people that doesn't like to be a bother. So if I'm having a panic attack and it feels like I'm actually having a heart attack, I've said at least I'm around people. If I pass out, they'll call the ambulance. Yeah. So I've never spoken up. I've never been like, I'm in rough shape, somebody needs to call something, or I need help, talk me through this. I've just suffered in silence, knowing that if I fucking went out and hit
somebody
my head,
will be there for you.
Yeah, somebody would, surrounded by people.
So you had the panic attack at Governor's.
So I had
and then got Colin Quinn and the heart attack.
So that was Friday, right? And I intentionally took Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that was Tuesday. The Colin Quinn thing was Tuesday. I was going to take a fucking week off because I was like, something's happening. I don't know what it is, and that was a really scary moment. So I need to maybe push off and like be at rest. Yeah. But I can't. I'm addicted, so I can't not be around comedy. So I was at the Cellar, and then Liz asked me to do 30 minutes. I hadn't done stand-up in 4 days, which for a comedian feels like you forgot how to do what you do. Yeah. And I, of course, agreed. I almost said no. Like, I was on that level where I was going to be like, forget it. But I agreed. It eventually turned to 20 minutes because Chris and Voss went up first. And both of them, I don't know if intentionally to help me. I don't think so. But they were both doing, like, new. Like, they didn't give a fuck. Yeah. They're both in at the Cellar permanently and forever. Yeah. And so they both were, lobbing ones down the middle. And I went up at the end and closed and threw every haymaker that I have.
No, Voss wasn't helping you. Thank you for the slow pitch right down the middle. Voss doesn't help people.
He did mention my weekend at Uncle Vinny's right before he brought me up.
Oh, what a great guy. Voss does not help people. It's fun to be around, but... And that was how you got your start.
So then,
because that opened the doors for the Cellar and everything else, more or less. And you were made. That's amazing. And all because Colin Quinn has a weak heart.
His stupid failing artery helped me out.
Because he can't say no to chicken wings. So the self-sabotaging story, I got it. I got to do this. So
Yeah.
when I was let go at SiriusXM, at first they were trying to say I was fired, and then you get some high-powered lawyers together, and then you come to an understanding, Mike Cannon. So officially I was just let go, and they paid every penny, and I'm not supposed to talk about this, so I'll shut my fucking mouth. But anyway, the day I got fired at first, and now, officially let go, the phone rings. Now, I don't really talk to my mom.
Okay.
And she's called many times. She's in a home. And I just blow off the phone call.
Right.
That day, I'm sitting around with my family, pretty depressed because, I had a long run at SiriusXM and it came to an end. And I'm just just wallowing in sadness and depression and like, what the fuck just happened and all that. You get it. And the phone rings and I see it's my mom. And I said to myself, fuck it. I don't want this to hurt.
Let's invite
more.
the chaos.
I want this to hurt more because I need to feel because of trauma and PTSD. If you know anything about PTSD, our pain level's a bit higher than most. And I picked it up and she's like, Sal, I got your Mother's Day flowers. And I'm thinking, because we were making an effort at this point, because I'll go a year where I don't even talk to her at all. Then I'm like, fuck it. My dad would be pissed because he's no longer with us.
Right.
So maybe for him, I should try a little harder. All that. You get all
Of course.
this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck it. So me and my wife, we sent flowers from a sponsor. And she goes, I got your Mother's Day flowers. And it's never good.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm waiting for they were beautiful. My God, maybe we can finally figure out our shit and have a relationship. Why don't you come visit me? Haven't seen your kids in a while. She goes, I got a kick out of the fact that they were late.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's fun.
And then listed all the cards I didn't give her in the past bunch of years. You never sent me a Mother's Day card, a Valentine's Day card, a Christmas card, a St. Patty's Day card, even though we're barely Irish, a Groundhog's Day card.
Oh, shit.
Just listing all the cards. And this is where you can relate. She's the grandma.
Yeah.
She's never sent my kids a fucking card.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But in my upbringing, cars were very important.
Same. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wonder what that is. It might be a Long Island thing, or I don't know.
Very important for which parent?
My dad's side especially. His father would always say, not even a 10-cent card.
Okay.
Yeah, when it was his birthday
your mom
or
and
whatever.
my dad would really get. I mean, your dad and my mom would really get along.
Oh man, if they mated, the portal to hell would open up underneath them.
Right. Here's a new story for the people. So, speaking of cards, so we're just kids, and I don't remember which card. I don't think it was a biggie, like a birthday card, but maybe it was a Valentine's Day card. Let's say that, okay? Yeah. And we don't get my mom a Valentine's Day card. All hell breaks loose in the house that we didn't get a fucking Valentine's Day card. She's throwing shit and screaming and turning over our rooms and throwing it on the driveway over a card, right? And then, because, it was a healthy upbringing, my dad's like, you guys better go to the stationery store and get a card. So then we're kids. We're kids.
Yeah.
With all these, emotions and, we're now uptight and stuff. And we walk to the stationery card store pretty much in tears because of what just happened at our house. And now we're begrudgingly trying to pick out a nice Valentine's Day card that says, oh, you're the greatest mom ever and all the, all the horse shit. And we're like, I guess this one will work. And then we would go home and present the Valentine's Day card. And then it was like none of that other shit happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was the kid. And I'm like, this is insane, right? And I'm looking around like, this is insane, right?
That's wild. Yeah. My dad, similar shit to where, I had a fist fight with my dad. And then when I got back, we never spoke about it, ever. We've still never spoken about it, ever. And it was when I was 20.
Really?
Yeah.
How did it feel?
It was great because I was on steroids and I
I remember those days.
and I just fucking he threw the first punch, so which is crazy in and of itself, but it was all over college. The fact that I went to junior college based on my parents, like I had an okay average. I had like an 85 GPA with an 1150.
Yeah.
Mediocre. Could have gone to whatever school,
Yeah.
that and became the comedian I am anyway.
Right.
Instead, they were like, "Can you go to junior college because we lost all this money in the stock market?" That's around that time, and whatever. So I said yes, and I did it obviously, and got great grades. And they were like, "If you do this, you can go. We'll pay for any school that you get into."
Wow.
So I went and visited my girlfriend at the time at Syracuse, which is weird because my wife now also went to Syracuse. So they were both at Syracuse, and I visited them each separately at the time. But I went to visit this other one, and then I checked out Ithaca, and I was going to go to Ithaca. I was like, oh, that's the place I want to be. It's close to my girlfriend. I can play basketball there. They have my major, blah, blah, blah. Came home excited, very, pumped to tell my family that I had some bit of direction. I had like a 3.93 in school, so I was crushing it. They were happy with my academic performance for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I came back and I was like, I know where I want to go to school, Ithaca. And my dad was like, absolutely not, SUNY. And I'm like, what? Like, he's like, you can't go anywhere but SUNY. And I'm like, that's not the deal, though. The deal was that you guys would pay for anything. He's like, fuck you, and he's immediately like frothing from the mouth in my face, like doing a big confrontation about it.
Yeah.
Which, like, looking back now, it's clearly a money issue, right?
Yeah.
So if he was just like, hey man, like, we're still fucked up.
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, say no more.
Yeah.
Like, say no more. We'll figure this out. Maybe I'll get money to go to Ithaca, or I will go to SUNY, and I'll do it way less begrudgingly than you attacking me
Right.
for wanting to fulfill an agreement that we had.
Yeah.
So he's like in my face, and I'm a juice monkey at this point in my life. So I'm, of course, nose to nose with this fucking animal. And I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go. If you want to do this, let's fucking go. And he, thinking this would, I guess, intimidate me away, threw like a half-ass uppercut towards my midsection. And I guess I was T1000 locked in because I chopped down on his forearm at the exact time where I know I gave him a dead forearm. Like, the dead forearm might actually hurt more than the punch.
Yeah.
Because I fucking slugged my fist, hammer-fisted right down on his forearm, and then like an outfielder throwing to third from right, just crow-hopped and punched him right in the fucking face. He stumbled backwards, and then I ran out of the house, didn't come back for 3 days, ended up getting arrested for underage drinking. Like, so I'm at Villanova visiting my friends, one of which who's now dead, visiting my friends.
Wait, how is that connected? I guess you can explain.
I literally just left because I was scared.
Yeah.
I punched my dad in the face, so I fucking left, and I just drove to Villanova. So I was like, all right, I don't know where to go. I'm just going to visit my friend in Philadelphia.
Right.
So I just visited my friends, had the Thursday night where I never drank at this point, and I drank as if I had been training for this moment.
Yeah.
So I had like unlimited amounts of drinks. I was smoking weed as if I had been away at college this entire time. Had crazy spins. Somebody put me to bed in some girl's like room upstairs. I woke up to 4 of them poking me like I was the dead body and Stand By Me. And I'm just like, what are you doing? They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, man. They're like, get out. And I'm like, okay. So I walk downstairs, and it's still the full party out, and I'm like fucking hitting into everything. I walk through the kitchen into the backyard, and I know I have to puke and pee. So I pull my pants down like a 4-year-old pissing, like underwear, pants down to my ankles, and I start throwing up. So I'm pissing and throwing up at the same time. Hadn't seen my buddies who I was with this whole time. Some guy at the like side of the house, it's dark out. He just goes, hey man. And I look, and it's a big silhouette, and I'm like, Tim, is that you? And he's like, yeah, man, come out front. So I pulled up my underwear, left my pants down, and I like penguin waddled over to this guy. By the time I was 18 inches away, I saw the badge, and I was like, motherfucker. He yoked me up, grabbed me out front, stuck a breathalyzer in my face. And again, like I get spots of this stuff where I remember it, but for the majority, this is all retold to me from people in the house and then out front. The cop said to everybody that I blew a .4. Wow. And the only reason I know that, which I don't believe because I think I'd be dead, but he told people that I was legally blind. The cop kept saying, he's legally blind. He's legally blind. And I'm like, I don't, whatever. They put me in cuffs because I didn't have anybody over 20. All my buddies were also underage. I didn't have anybody over 21 that like could relieve them of me. So they're like, we're going to take you to the drunk tank unless you can get somebody. Yeah. So I called my buddy Tim, and I was like, hey, man, I got to show you something. Didn't even tell him like what was happening. Just said, I have to show you something in front of the house. He was getting pizza. He walks, sees the cops, and like a full sociopath hands them his dead brother's ID. And he's like 23. And the cop goes, all right, yeah, sure. Gives him gives him me as collateral. Says it's totally fine. Slaps me with a ticket that was $678.
Ouch.
And at the in college, I didn't have a job. I was playing basketball, so I didn't even have time to work. But, so I'll get to that. The next day, Friday, I was having, like, the worst anxiety post-drinking, like, wanting to kill myself level, like, I can't believe what happened last night. So I'm struggling through the day. I called the number on the back of the ticket because they said we're going to mail a second copy home. And I was like, hey, you don't have to do that. Like, I got the copy. It's totally fine. Like, don't mail it home. And they're like, okay. And then Saturday, I had double the anxiety. Like, I just felt even worse that I drove home. And as I was driving home, when I got home, my mom was waiting with the ticket that they FedEx overnighted.
Jesus.
So when I called them to tell them not to send it, they were like, well, fuck this kid.
Yeah.
They put it in FedEx and overnighted
Made
it
sure
to my
it got
house.
there.
My mom's sitting there like tapping her foot like fucking Sonic if you took too long. And she's like, wait for me. And I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck? And she's like, $678. You don't even have a job. What the fuck? You're an alcoholic now? You're drinking, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I do have a job. I ran upstairs. I was playing poker at the time in all these underground clubs. I grabbed 10,000 cash that I had up in my room, right? And I fanned out 700 and I go,
bam.
Keep the change, you fucking bitch.
You said that to your
to my mom, because her and my dad are getting a divorce at the time. We all, like, the house is just a fucking mess. Everybody hates everybody.
Right.
And she's like, what the fuck? Are you a drug dealer? And I'm like, all proud and noble. I'm like, no, I'm a poker player. She's like, that's worse. Like, you're performing in all the, what the fuck? Or performing. You're whatever. Like,
it's not worse. It's a skill.
It's a skill.
You obviously were pretty good at it.
I was definitely putting myself in danger because some of the shady places.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it was not great.
So
I would
were you
not want my
addicted to
kid.
playing cards for a while?
No, it never got to that where I lost so much money that it became a problem. It just became. It ended up. Money meant something to me eventually, and I kind of tapered off.
Gotcha.
Like that's kind of how it ended.
So how did it end with your dad, though?
So my dad, she goes, Kevin, but what the fuck? Michael's playing, blah, 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 blah. He comes over, sees the 10 grand, and goes, you can pay for school yourself. And then walked back in the living room and watched TV.
And that's why you went to Geneseo.
And that was the last time we ever spoke about our fist fight. Ever.
That was it?
That was it.
Did it feel weird punching your own dad, though?
It's the best feeling I've ever had.
It was.
In my life. The second to welcoming my son into this world.
Because that's the other thing we have in common. We both went to Geneseo, but and the school thing. Now, I mean, we're kind of like tagging each other today. But in my family, so my parents, especially my mom, was really strict about school and homework. Mm-hmm. Did you do your homework? And she would rip a door off the wall if we didn't. Just crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
It was never like. I don't know. It never matched what we were doing. Her reaction ever. She would hit us with the wooden spoon every once in a while. I mean, she wasn't a hitter for the most part. It was more emotional and yelling and screaming. But I remember the day because I was in the kitchen where she raised that wooden spoon. The famous moment. It wasn't me. It was my brother. Just grabbed her arm and then she had to realize defeat, which she hated.
Yeah.
She hated to have to admit defeat, and then she dropped the spoon and just dramatically walked out of the room. But that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. It was never going to happen again.
I have a whole bit on my first album about that.
Really?
It's that's the bit I'm most proud of from that hour because it's really fucked up and vulnerable. But I was 15 and my mom tried to hit me while running up the stairs, and I turned and she went to swing and I caught her arm. Yeah. And then she swung again and I caught her other arm and I said again, I was like, what now? Kate.
Kate?
Yeah, Kate. And she screamed for my dad. And then she's like, Kevin, Michael just tried to throw me down the stairs. So she lied to him, said I tried to push her down the stairs. He ran after me. I run in my room. He smashed through my door. And this is true. This is part of a bit. He stepped on my cum towel, which I'll always just get a real big kick out of because it was...
Did he sprain his ankle?
Oh, dude, yeah. He stubbed a toe real bad. And the bit ends with him, dry heaving and then walking out the door and never hitting me. And that's the last time I got hit. But the real story is he beat the shit out of me.
Oh, really? really?
Oh yeah, my room. You know, he fucking
Yeah.
unloaded, and was like, never, ever, ever overpower your mother again. It's like, so I just have to let her hit me.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's
so
crazy.
you got beat growing up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so when you hit on that, now I fully understand it.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the comedy that you weren't bullshitting.
No.
So in my house with the homework and schooling, and it was like so strict, and just yelling and screaming if we didn't have our homework done, and if we weren't getting good grade, all this shit, right? So I was in my family unit. I was the perfect son because
Okay.
to me it was like just fucking focus. Count the years until you're 18, and then
Right.
you could make your own life. So I didn't cause trouble. Then I had my brother, he's barely a year younger than me, and
Oh,
he
wow.
was the one like, fuck
Yeah.
this. But I was the straight and narrow, A's, good SATs, did my homework, all that. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get into a good college at least,
Right.
And then when I was a senior and I had these perfect grades, and then I'd started applying to Syracuse, Boston University, and Temple, because at the time those were the three best broadcasting colleges.
Oh, so you knew even then, huh?
Oh yeah, since I was a kid escaping in my room listening
Wow.
to radio, and then I got the lecture. Then I got the speech from my parents like, oh, by the way, we can't afford college. I'm like, you just made me work hard all these years knowing that
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
push comes to shove, when it's the big payoff, you don't have it.
A carrotless race.
Oh, so that's how I went to fucking Geneseo.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
want
yeah.
to go to Geneseo.
I'm sure Geneseo would love to hear these origin stories. Fuck that school anyway.
No, it's a great school now. That's
Well,
the
I
funny
told
thing
you.
is-
Did I tell you? So I graduated supposedly.
Yeah.
Initially, like I fought my ass off because I transferred. Had to take Spanish during every fucking break, winter, spring, summer, like literally just a language, all this stuff to like even make sure that the credits that didn't transfer kind of materialized into the full degree, right? And so I'm on the list. I didn't walk because my parents were thick in the middle of the divorce at that point, so I just left. They assured me everything was fine. My advisor, blah, blah, blah. I'm graduated. I'm done. A year later, they sent my mom a thing saying I'm 3 credits short, and the one class I'm missing is public speaking.
Wow.
Yeah, public speaking.
Yeah.
Even at the
I
point,
get it.
at that time, like years later, I offered, I was like, hey, like, I kind of do this for a living.
Yeah.
I'll write a thesis. I'll pay for the
Yeah, yeah,
credits,
yeah.
like, just to give me the fucking degree. And they're like, no. And I was
No.
like, well, then eat my asshole forever. I
Right.
will always trash Geneseo simply for that. Fuck that place.
Well, when I went, I mean, I'm older than you, obviously, but when I went, it was a hardcore drinking school. And then
Yeah.
during your time,
I
they were
treated it that way.
they were starting to kind of fade out of that. But now my niece goes, and it's like,
Prim and proper.
oh my god, yeah.
Well, they probably got all the. I got roofied by that one frat that got kicked off for like sexually assaulting their own pledges, pigs or whatever. They're like half a frat. The first night of college, I was such a a little gay boy drinker. I dipped my cup in the punch and then couldn't see 6 inches in front of my face right away.
They roofied you.
Roofied the entire punch bowl because they figured every woman would drink from that. And then, like the dainty lady I am,
my God.
I had some sweet sips. And
Sweet sips. Wow, no kidding.
yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you, Manscaped.
Thank you, Manscaped.
I shaved my nuts for the first time in 10th grade.
Yeah.
It was a huge thing because it was the first year I was getting like consistent blowjobs.
Yeah.
And I knew that trimming was a thing, but I shaved it to like where I'm a baby boy. Like, and that
I've
was
done that a few times.
crazy.
It's a little weird.
It started a whole thing in my grade where my entire basketball team started shaving their pubes and balls, and we were bald, and we had one Chinese kid on our team named Howard Eng, and so we of course called it Bard Eager instead of anything, and that was our team nickname for each other. Was it Bard Eager was our cry, our victory
no
cry.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Wildly racist and fun thing.
So you also played basketball. Did you shower after practice?
No, we didn't do that as a basketball team, really, because the wrestlers were doing wildly homosexual shit in the shower after every time.
No.
Like we'd come off the court and they would be like, plunging each other's assholes and
Come
doing God
on.
knows what. No, I mean, but holding each other down and like, forceful
Just
tea
getting
bags.
weird.
Yeah, I got tackled by my neighbor Pat several times while he was wet and naked, and it's like, yeah, this sucks, dude. This totally sucks.
There's nothing good about this.
No, it's like it's exactly why I'm grateful that I chose basketball at a young age.
Stop pretending. Yeah, we're just having fun and come out of the closet.
Yeah, it's like no wonder you're angry. You have all these repressed homosexual urges.
No, I asked because after basketball practice, I went home sweaty because I wasn't developed yet.
Oh yeah,
I do good now, Mike. So I want everyone to know that.
I still hate showering, dude. I sent a soft. So every once in a while, I'll send like funny soft nudes to my wife from the road, like just to make sure she doesn't want to fuck me when I get back.
Yeah.
And I crop the picture. And I send my friends, my guy friends, topless pics because I'm one of the few in shape ones because I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
They're all drinking and bloating up and being dads and whatever, and I'm just like starting to cut weight and shit. So I sent them this thing to be like, yeah, look at my body, fuck you, homos. And then I like didn't get a response, so I went back to the chat and I saw the live circle in the corner and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is that? And so I pressed the picture and at the end it like went down and still showed my soft dick. So all of my guy friends got to see my dick in the worst possible light of all time, just a rigatoni size fucking skinny dick. It was terrible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I in college there was a rumor that this girl that was seeing one of our friends shaved her bush into a heart for Valentine's Day.
That's sweet.
It drove the entire floor in Onondaga. I'll go local for you. Insane.
Yeah.
And then every time you saw her for the next 3 years, you're just thinking about her heart-shaped
box.
There you go, heart-shaped box.
And that's before Manscaped.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that was some real scissor work.
Exactly. One thing I got to give away one bit slightly from your special that comes out January 24th. Life Begins on Mike Cannon's YouTube channel. How you talk about your kid being on life support because he can't do anything yet. Fucking brilliant.
Oh, thanks,
That's
man.
some brilliant observations.
And
that's why every comic should have a stupid kid because it's built-in material.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like that, right? Because at first, now my kid, I say life begins at 6 months, which is interesting because now I'm dropping my album or my special on his 6 month birthday.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it almost like it happened accidentally. But like, he's now even at 5 months, like he's a baby where he's interacting, he's laughing, he's smiling, and it's like it's such a game changer because at first it's kind of frustrating to where we don't have any bodily connection. He's not suckling off my tit to live.
Right.
So I'm just like almost a workhorse. I'm a grunt man just doing whatever I can to make sure that I'm helping my wife, helping him survive and all that stuff. But like I'm getting no real reward out of it aside from this kid continuing to breathe.
You're just really a slave.
Yeah.
And you realize when you become a father that men are basically useless.
Yeah. For the most part.
Useless.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we were carrying a baby?
No, we're all basically Turtle from Entourage.
Exactly.
When you have a kid.
And then after they're born, you think you can step up more, and they're like, no, they depend on the mom and the breast and this and that, and you're just like, you feel like a loser.
Yeah.
So what was my contribution here? I shot a load in my wife.
Eyelashes.
That was it. Yeah, exactly. But you talk about them being useless, which is so funny because every other animal on Earth, and this is where I love getting in deep with you.
Yeah.
And where I really believe we just don't belong on this planet. I don't know how we fucking got here, but something went wrong in the universe, and that's why humans are on Earth. I really believe that. And someday, maybe it's going to be way past my time and probably yours, where they finally go, yep, that's exactly what happened. The spaceship landed with these 2 astronauts way long ago, and that's that's how Earth kind of began with humans. But every other animal on we're doing a podcast. All right. What do you think we're doing?
I got to tell you, amazing that she knows what a podcast is.
If we weren't doing a podcast, this would be really weird.
My dad would have walked in and would have been like, "You on space radio?"
Right. There's 2 crazy guys up there just with microphones, just babbling.
Yeah, they're just unconnected to anything.
With way too much energy. No one talks like that when they don't have a mic in front of them. But on Earth, every other animal, every other species, when they give birth, they're more or less self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Except for those stupid birds, I guess, that have to stay in a nest for a little bit. But, all of a sudden you'll see like a giraffe born.
Right.
And it just falls out of the mom's,
Gaping vagina. Yeah. I mean, at that point, it is a cunt.
Right. And then the mom licks it a few times, and then all of a sudden it just awkwardly gets up, and next thing you know, it's hunting for its own food.
Right, yeah, right. All right,
Sorry.
Jeffrey, a lion's coming.
Right.
We need to hurry.
But with humans, they're just like, help me.
I know.
Help me.
It truly is baffling. Like, so two things. I was saying this right after my kid was born, right? That I watched what my wife went through, what she was capable of, what came from her body, and I couldn't believe that at the very base level of humanity, men watched that happen and were like, "Thank you, we got it from here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We'll be in charge
yeah.
from this point out." That blows my mind at a base animal level. And then the other thing is like, how did we survive this long with such loud, useless baggage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that I know that a lot of kids died off really early, obviously, so that's more or less how we did it.
Yeah.
But how a saber-toothed tiger didn't pick off 100% of the children, while they're whining and bitching, and like, that's a real testament to human spirit.
That's why to this day, women hear every single word that is uttered. I heard that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I can't figure it out. I mean, I'm convinced that women were far superior to men, and we got fucking pissed off and started just lifting boulders and knocking down trees so we could just do curls all day long so we could control them because they were so...
And we convinced them that their period was a liability. We're like, look at you, you're bleeding.
Yeah, right.
Heal yourself, you dippy broad.
We just knocked them down. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
look at your hollow bones. Pick something up.
Right. Because how else?
It doesn't make any sense.
Where all of a sudden, a guy comes in you, and next thing you're just growing life inside you.
Oh, and think about,
and then somehow we look at them like they're like insignificant. Are you kidding me?
And also, just think about like what a also testament to the human spirit it was to even have sex at that time, because the smell emanating from a woman's vagina in the year 2 must have been like fresh polar bear cunt. Like that would have been just a fishy blood nightmare, covered in the most disgusting fur with 25 years of decay grown into their non-manscaped pubes.
Thank you. Yeah. Manscaped.com, 20% off. Use the promo code Opie. That's funny. Who was the hero that went down on a woman for the first time? What's his name and what year was it?
He was famous for not being able to smell.
That's how it happened.
He broke his nose on a coconut earlier that day and was like, you know what, I might as well.
Fuck, going way back. How about just like during the Revolutionary War? They were barely showering, and I mean... That's how great sex is, obviously. Right. Even if you're not doing oral, could you just imagine just pulling down bloomers and what that was like?
Yeah, and just, it's at that point, it was like real heavy-duty cotton, so it probably sealed in the stink. So anytime you pulled it down, it was just a month's worth.
Right. And then just crouched by a river all day doing the laundry, and next thing you know, you want to have sex with that? That's how great sex is, though, right?
It just wilted the flowers on the nightstand.
Exactly. But there was a guy that went down for the first time. He's a true hero.
Yeah,
he should have a fucking statue.
Old numb lips.
But our age difference. You didn't come up when women were still growing it like crazy down there, right?
I mean, in high school, girls definitely had a little bit of puke. Yeah, you'd run into it, but I mean, now it's kind of on the way back, I hear. But I don't know. Like, it depended on the woman. Like, I'd say 90% of the girls I've been with have been fully shaved.
Right.
I'd say 5% to 7% have had like a little landing strip, and then the others are an unkept briar patch.
That only came about at the end of my single years. Most of my years were like, wow.
Spent with a machete.
Oh, no joke. Like, you're just pushing stuff aside, trying to find stuff.
You're trying to create cunt crop circles.
There you go. Oh, my God. Did you live on a busy street that had lots of accidents? Where it was 40 miles per hour, but...
Oh, 303. So
303,
yeah,
thank
303
you. Did you live off 303?
Off of it, but like my house was inlet enough to where it wasn't an issue. I was off of a couple other streets. But yeah, the 303 was like, it was 40 miles per hour from the time I was like living there and capable to drive because I think it was 60 before that, and there was just a death every day.
Yeah.
Like, constantly. Like, people just fucking ripping around that thing.
I heard it on your podcast, Irish Goodbye, with Mike Feeney.
Yeah.
Tell Mike I said hi, by the way.
I will.
It's another thing we have in common because I grew up on a very busy street, and I got excited when I heard that because I want to like just talk about all the death in front of my house.
It's crazy, man.
Including my dad.
No kidding?
Oh, that was the big crescendo.
Wait, he died on your busy street?
Right in front of our house that we moved into when I was 5 years old, and that was finally the end where we had to get rid of that house and get my mom out of there. But before that, it was our pets were getting run over. It was accidents in the middle of the night with power lines on cars that were upside down with guys yelling, "Help me! Help me!" in the middle of the night.
Holy
One car
shit.
hit our house going like they estimated like 70, 80 miles an hour where we couldn't even open the front door anymore.
Holy.
It hit the curb and hit the second level. There was a giant crack that we never fixed in our house because of this car accident. Then it rolled and took out the whole side of our house, and then we all woke up, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's this drunk just wandering around in our backyard where we played wiffle ball. Like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, my
Totally
God.
fine because like they say, you're relaxed when you're drunk.
Did that happen to both of you? Did that happen to your house multiple times?
Yeah.
Somebody got. There is always a house in every suburban neighborhood that just gets hit by drunk drivers.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Dave's house, they had to put like guardrails and like a net. They had everything. They blew through their living room twice.
I'm glad you mentioned guardrails because that's what happened to us. Because before they put the guardrail up, nobody was hitting our house.
Right.
So they would come home from Huntington, Long Island, drunk as fuck on 25A.
Yeah.
And they were flying into the woods. No harm, no foul. There's no houses. There's no
shit.
people. But there's all sorts of trees, so I'm sure some of those accidents back in the day were ugly. So the town's like, I know what we should do. We need to put a guardrail up so they'll bounce off a little bit and stay on the road and they won't hit a tree and die. Well, so then they were playing fucking pinball, basically. They hit the guardrail, excuse me, and then it would knock them to the left, and guess whose house was to the left across the street?
Shit. Yeah.
That's the only reason.
oh my
It's the only reason. My mom would hold court. I should tell some of the nice stories about my mom, which is kind of hard to be totally honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, that Christmas story I told, really fond memory.
Yeah, exactly. But she would hold court in the middle of the night as the cops and the firemen are there and the neighbors are all out, and she'd be in her bathrobe just socializing.
Holy shit.
As there's some horrific scene right in front of our house.
Oh, that reminds me of Edward Scissorhands. When anything would happen,
Yes!
they'd all go out into their front yard
Yes,
and just
that's bravo. Which at this point I should mention you have great movie references on the podcast. A lot of them go over my head. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm a weird Asperger's catalog.
It's scary, though.
Only the specific movies I've seen.
Oh, okay. It's scary, some of your references, but that one I know. We had so much crazy ass shit happening right in front of our house.
Oh, my God, that's wild.
And then it ended with my dad dying because whatever. I've told this. But I'll tell it again, even though the faithful listeners are like, I heard this story. But basically, our house, he never took lefts because it was so scary because we lived around the bend with the guardrail over there.
Right.
And, so we never took lefts. But that day, like my parents' friends were picking them up, and the guy's like, I can take a fucking left.
Oh, my God. So somebody else was fucking driving?
Yeah. He goes, I could take a left.
Oh, my God.
Didn't help that he only had one arm, by the way, as well. Jesus Christ. Sadly, these are,
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up with their kids, which
course,
makes it really awkward.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to try to let the one guy off the hook at the funeral wake, and he's like, what do you mean? It was my dad's fault. I'm like, all right, then whose fault is it?
You're right. It was somebody else.
Whose fault is it? I was trying to be, take the high road. Look, I just I pull him aside. I mean, it's his wake. I just want to let you know, me and my brothers and sisters, we don't blame your father. What do you mean blame my father? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're not.
All right.
operating.
Anyway, I'm going to go over here and cry some more. Sorry that I was trying to have a moment with you, you sick
And
fuck.
let you off the hook, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. But he took the left, man. And my mom, she was in the back seat, and she's like, I almost said his name. I shouldn't. No, don't take the left. We always take rights, and then we do a U-turn. There's a road a little further up that you can pull in and then take the U-turn and then go left, finally. And he was like, no, man, I got this. And boy, he did not go.
Oh, my
He did
God.
not have it.
Yikes.
And my mom took the brunt of the accident.
No shit.
Oh, she was so fucked up. But my dad was on blood thinners for a bad heart, and that's what took him out.
Yeah.
Because he walked
Fuck,
himself
man.
to the ambulance. I've told all this stuff. I should shut up.
That's tough.
But even when I was cocky as like a teenager and college kid, I took lefts out of my driveway,
Sure.
but barely.
Right,
And
right.
every once in a while, it was just like you had to be razor sharp. You couldn't be on anything. You had to be like, and go.
Right. Yeah.
So. But.
Was your neighborhood like? I mean, yeah, you couldn't be on anything in my old neighborhood too, because like the fucking town mascot is the DUI. Like,
Oh really?
Oh yeah, every
Really?
single dude. I mean, the amount of times me and my friends have just like irresponsibly driven drunk. Even like, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like my buddy he had this huge box car, right? Like a big Lincoln almost, where it was like a junker that he was just driving around for the time being. And our school had this like real slow moving kind of like, it wasn't a left turn, it was just a turn, right? The only way you could go. And he's going up the place, 3 a.m. right near TZ High School, stops right in the middle of this turn, parks the car in the middle of the double yellow line, gets out, starts pissing in the middle of the street. My buddy John is sitting shotgun, and he's as blacked out, if not more, slides over into the driver's seat, and my buddy is like, looks at him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm helping you." And then he like, he just put the car into drive and drove directly into the guardrail. So it was 2 drunk, moronic mistakes in a row.
Yeah.
And like, I have countless friends that have died from drunk accident, like a ton.
I had one tough one. He's
Yeah.
my little brother in my fraternity in Geneseo.
Yeah.
Tough.
Ugh.
Head-on collision with like a truck.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, that was a tough one, man, to be honest with you. But we all did it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not proud of it.
And it didn't even stop once my friends died, which is really fucked up. If anything, that gave us a little more of thirst to try to die also.
Well, I mean, you still had to get pussy, you know?
Well, yeah, and also we would do a bump of coke just to be safe.
Yeah, exactly. To wake up for the ride home. But with that said, I don't know if you're at that age yet, because I got a bunch of years on you, and now that you're a father, do you wake up some mornings and go, "Holy fuck, I'm alive"? I can't.
Yeah.
You start thinking about some of the shit from the past, and you cannot believe you're the same person. You're just like, I sometimes wake up, not in, people exaggerate with that cold sweat shit, but that feeling of like, I'll remember some dumb thing from Geneseo, and I'm just like, oh my, why did I take that fucking chance? But you have youth on your side, so you think, nothing will ever happen to you.
I put myself in so much. I mean, in Ireland, I fell down an 11-foot drop where I should have broken my neck, but I just was drunk enough that my whole body was like, a Lincoln
Limber.
log.
Yeah.
And I just fucking rolled down a hill, and I was like, I'm all right. But like in Geneseo, my buddy got pulled over. I like forced everybody. We had to go get a Dutch to smoke weed. Like that's the only way we could smoke weed. We didn't have 700 bongs in our fucking apartment that were easily accessible. So I made everybody get in the car. We're driving there. My friend is shit-faced. Of course we get pulled over. They breathalyze him, gets pulled out of the car. I'm in the like passenger seat, and I go to the officer. They're like, "Your friend's going to jail. Like he's shit-faced. You guys are fucking idiots. We're gonna come and impound the car if you guys can't get a ride." And I'm like, "Can you breathalyze me to like, I'll drive home. I feel fine." And they're like, "Okay." They gave me the breathalyzer, and they looked at it, and they're like, "Not even close." Like not even close. And I'm like, all right. And so they're like, "Listen, we're leaving." And there's like 9 cops in all of Geneseo. So these were 2 of them. And they're like, "All right, we're leaving. We're going to come back in 10 minutes. If you guys are still here, we're going to impound the car, and we're going to like have to take you home or whatever." And we're like, all right, whatever. We're like faking that we're going to call people. Cops disappear. I jump in the driver's seat and drive to the gas station, continue the mission, drive to the gas station, get the Dutch, and then drive home.
Wow.
So not to mention, was I a fucking idiot to get behind the wheel anyway? I then drove further out in a car that they would recognize, got a Dutch, and then drove back through the area I just came from.
That's amazing.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, we all are, though.
Just an idiot.
We all are. So the one thing, to wrap up, one thing you've learned becoming a father.
About myself, I learned that I'm way more capable than I give myself credit for. I am able to be an adult. I might not want to at times, but I definitely am able to, and I can be a really good partner to my wife, and I can be a really good father to my kid, and I'm just like 100% present and locked in terms of just overall fatherhood. It is it's much more it's not even much more difficult. I mean, it's obviously more difficult than you think before you start because you just have no basis for it. But it's like it's so much more everything. It's emotionally exhausting. It's physically exhausting. It's you have these feelings of love and frustration and all of those things that like it's everything, right?
Yeah.
And I just wish I had that conversation with my parents even earlier because it would have given me an appreciation for everything they did. I think if they were, and this is me blaming them for why I didn't, give them credit, but I just feel like if we spoke on an adult level for earlier, then I would have been a better son.
Right.
I think. So I'm hoping that that's what I glean and bring to my kid.
I was going to end with that, but now you lead to something else. So, I had major issues growing up in my house, but I understand my mom especially more as I get older. Are you like scared that you're going to fuck up your kid the same way you were fucked up? Because our philosophy in our house is like, look, if you're a parent, you're going to fuck up your kids.
Right.
There's a very good chance they're going to be in therapy no matter what because of you.
For sure.
So in my household, we're like, all right, we're going to fuck up the kids. Even though people say we're really good parents and all that, but we're like, it's just almost inevitable. But our thing is, fuck them up in new ways. Because there'll be things that trigger me like, oh, shit. This is when my mom would fucking, throw the whole kitchen table through the window. And
right.
And then we'd make believe nothing happened as we're sweeping up class.
Yeah.
So our thing is fuck them up in new ways. We don't want to fuck them. We don't want to fuck them up at all, obviously. But I don't want to do the things that my parents did to us to our kids.
No, that's for sure. I mean, this is like almost two parts, right? Is I'm just now starting to like who I am as a person. I actually think I've grown into being pretty decent man, and like I have my head on straight. I think I'm pretty smart. I think I'm pretty funny. I love what I do. I love my wife. I'm a good husband. I'm a good father. Right. So I'm like just now seeing that what all the hard shit that I went through and all that that sucked. But I'd be lucky to have a kid like me. Yeah. So if my kid eventually ends up being, a well-rounded adult, hopefully it's not through him having to teach himself like I have. But, if he ends up this way, there's nothing I could be but proud. Right. So and that sounds like a weird, almost full of yourself thing, but I'm just now starting self-love. So if you think I'm conceited, suck my dick.
Oh God, yeah. You can't be selfish or any of that shit if you're a parent.
No. So I think I'm definitely. I mean, I'm going to be communicative with my kid. I'm going to be emotionally transparent. I'm going to tell him when I feel, and I'm not going to bog him down with all this stuff because there's parents that can go overboard by just being like too much to their kids. But I just feel like the communication is the big thing. I just can't wait to talk to him and tell him everything.
Mike, this was awesome.
Thanks so
Mike
much for
Cannon,
having me,
he's got a special coming out on his YouTube channel, which is
Mike Cannon Comedy. So subscribe now. It'll come out. You'll get notified, and I'm really proud of it. And I think people.
I saw it right before we started recording the podcast. It's damn good.
I appreciate it.
It's called Life Begins, and I like that you explained that there's more material from that actual set that's going to come out after the special.
Yeah, and February
really
18th,
smart.
The album, the full hour album, is coming out,
and it's smart. You're doing it yourself on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like it is. I mean, Schultz laid the groundwork, and he showed that you don't have to necessarily wait for permission. So I've been sitting here with my thumb up my ass, hoping a network was going to tap me to be next, and it isn't happening at the moment, and that's fine. I'm just ready to do my thing.
Well, it's their loss, dude. You're really, really fucking funny, man.
I appreciate
Anything else you want to promote real fast?
The podcast, Irish Goodbye Podcast, and the special. That's it. And any dates on the road, I'll be on the road, MikeCannonComedy.com.
There you go. We did it. I want to thank Matt and the gang here at Gebhards for having us.
Great place. Great hot dog.
You like the hot dog?
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
That was the last thing Carl ate here before he died.
Here's hoping that doesn't repeat.
I made everyone awkward. Mike, here's the menu. Order whatever you want. They're great here. And he goes, I'll have the hot dog. And then in front of Matt and the waitress and the bartender, I just had to explain to everyone that was the last thing Carl ate at Gebhards before he died.
Oh, good. The R.I.P. dog.
One of the last things he said to me was, man, the hot dogs are great at Gebhards, aren't they?
That's what I said.
Then, I will not walk into the subway because that was the last time I saw Carl. I walked from here to there. It's a half a block. He said, I love you. He hugged me, and that was the last time I saw him.
I'll say I love you here.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Oh, that was fun, man. Thank you.
boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.